We're back at Daniel chapter 6, and we're looking at another part of Daniel chapter 6. It's a great part of Daniel. The entire book is so full of ways in which we can make much of God in our lives. And here we are again in Daniel chapter 6. We know the story. Daniel chapter 6, Darius makes a command that anybody who worships anything other than him for 30 days is going to be thrown into the lion's den. And so here's Daniel. The king has just issued this command. Daniel knows that he worships God every day. He prays to God every day. He lives righteously to the Lord every day. He makes no petition and prayer to anybody but to God, because God's the only one that can actually answer the prayer and the only one who has everything in his hands. And so what does Daniel do? Daniel doesn't wait 30 days before he prays. He doesn't wait 30 days before he petitions the Lord. He doesn't wait 30 days to resume his relationship with the Lord. Daniel goes on with his life. Daniel does today what he did yesterday. Daniel did after the injunction of King Darius about not worshiping anybody except for him for 30 days. He does that the day before the injunction, and he does that the day after the injunction that was given by King Darius. And so we're looking at this and we're beginning to see a little bit something about Daniel. And this is what I want to pull out from Daniel here, is that Daniel's life was uninterrupted by the command given by King Darius. Why is that important? Because Daniel was doing the same thing after the injunction they did before the injunction. Daniel didn't have to change anything. Daniel wasn't going to change anything about his life, because he wasn't going to worship King Darius. He was going to worship the living God, the only God. And so after the command was given, Daniel goes up to his house, to his room, and he does what he normally does. He lives righteously. He prays to the Lord. He serves the Lord. And that's what I want us to see, is that Daniel lives righteously, both before the command and after the command. So why is that important? It was because that even when the king gave the command that anybody who worshiped anybody but him for 30 days would be thrown into the lion's den, Daniel does the same thing. Daniel's life is characterized by obedience and submission to God, so that when someone comes to Daniel and says, you got to do this, wait 30 days before you worship your God, Daniel says, no, I'm going to do the same thing today that I did yesterday, because I'm living righteously yesterday, and I'm going to live righteously today, and I'm going to live righteously tomorrow. And so what a place it has to be in our life, that even when such a command is given, even when it seems like the world is against us, or something has changed, or the world is telling us what we should do, we do the same thing day in and day out. Whether our life or comforts or world are challenged, we can do the same thing, because our goal is not to make much of ourselves. Our goal is to make much of God. So we live righteously. We do what God's called us to do, no matter the circumstances around us. It's not like we get to vote and say, I think I'll live righteously for God today, but tomorrow it's not so convenient for me. And so Daniel's life was patterned by living righteously for God every day. What would our lives look like if we had the pattern of living righteously for God every day, and no matter when our king offered or issued the command that if you worship God you'll die, we still do it, because we're more interested about serving God than we are about serving ourselves or serving man. Daniel's life was characterized by a pattern of living righteously, no matter the circumstances. We're to live righteously, no matter the circumstances. Both in life and in death, we are called to live righteously, to worship the one true and living God, because he is the only God. So here we are again, looking at the life of Daniel, saying, wow, can't we be more like Daniel, where no matter what happens, no matter when our life is threatened to end, I'm going to do the same thing today, even when my life is about to be over, that I did yesterday, because I'm living in such a way that even if my life were to end today, I don't have to change anything. Because I'm already living for the Lord. I'm already doing what the Lord's called me to do. No matter if you tell me I want to die today, nothing's going to change. Because I'm doing what God's called me to do. What a wonderful way to live. To know that even if you knew that the numbered days were about to end, you wouldn't have to change anything. Because you're already living the righteousness that God has called you to live. As a child of His, you don't have to change because you're already doing what you need to be doing. May we follow the example of Daniel and live in such a way that even if we knew that we were going to die this week, we would still do the same thing today that we did yesterday because we're worshiping the Lord.